Okay, so I think we can cover another chapter. Okay, uh, first certain keys, player input is foundational. Okay, so I think this much is okay. So we'll cover new chapter in a different video or the same video. Let's cover it in the same video. Okay, because it is simple. It's really very small, the concept of game loop. Okay. Mm, so we'll go over here and we'll just start covering player movement. Okay, so in the last chapter we got a dragon sprite showing up on the screen and some text. Okay, so we can build upon that, okay, by making it so we can control the dragon with our keyboard and the gamepad, because guess what, the dragon is not the main character of the game we are building. Buckle up, it's dragon flying time. Okay, so this is what is happening. Okay, so def stick args. Okay, so args output, so this is what we are doing in code. So this is our sprite, this is our dragon. Okay, so we can also go for something else, okay, like a rocket or something, like a spaceship. It will throw projectiles. Why not do that? Let's do that. Okay, so it's just to show you that this concept is really general, and it's not limited to dragons or anything like that, and you can render anything you wish. You can render a frog throwing spit, or anything that you want, or you can throw zombies, plants, a guy with a gun. You can do anything. Okay, so or a witch throwing spells, magic spells. Okay, so everything is possible. So that's just to show you, but we need to check that everything is spaceship sprites, let's say copyright free. If we don't get to do something that is really easy. Okay, so these are free game assets. Okay, let's see. So is this something that we want? There are also planets and stuff. Or we can also just open up a paint tab and do something. Okay, let's check the folder, game folder, if there is something other than dragons. Yeah, I think samples. No. Okay, my game, sprites. There's also cycle hedron, so not much in terms of misc. Let's go there. So there is also only dragon, that is really that's there. Okay, so coming to each, maybe it was a mistake. Okay, let's see, this is CC0, that means there are no copyrights on that. Let's download this, and let's download this for free for now, because we are not making any money off this. Okay, let's download this, and I hope we can render our stuff there. Okay, let's go to downloads. Let's cut that and go back to our game folder here, and then in the sprites, let's paste this and extract this. Okay, we extracted this, and now ship. Okay, there are a lot of things. Okay, this is basically something that is this is full health. So this is you get the concept, right? So when it is full health, this is the ship can sustain some damage over time, aliens shooting back, but we are not implementing any of that, so we are good to go with this, but we need to rotate this. Okay, so rotate image online, let's do that. Okay, it doesn't work that way. So let's say from device, this is our, okay, this is there, this is our, let's say clockwise, this is what we want. Then we can just download this. Okay, cool. So let's just cut this, and we might regret it later, because a lot of sprites, there should be weapons and stuff that also should match this, because a spaceship can't really shoot fireballs, right? So it has to shoot something else. Okay, we'll get there when we get there. Okay, so let's just go back to the game folder. Let's, this is it, I think. Okay, sprites. Okay, just paste this here. Okay, so let's rename it to something else, or is this okay? So just rename it to ship. Ship. Okay, ship.png. That's really cool. Okay, now if we need to change that, let's change that here, and it's situated here, I think. Sprites, it's not inside, I think it's inside misc folder. So let's reload this real quick, and then so it's just in the sprites, the top folder. Okay, this is it. So let's just copy relative path from there, and let's do this. Okay, this. Okay, ship.png. Okay, let's see how it changed. Oh, here's a ship now. So there is no dragon anymore, there's a ship. Okay, that's really cool, I think. It doesn't move, it's very stationary. Are there any way to make it move and make it smooth? But we can do that later always, but I just need to check that if it's possible at all. Where did we, okay, we did it here. Okay, and ship, engine effects. So I think it moves or something. Oh, so these are like the engine doing stuff, and not movement of the ship. So shields, weapons, I think we might need these latter. Weapons, so instead of fireballs we get something else. Okay, this sounds that these are all quite good. Let's zoom it. These are like yeah, you know, these are like missiles. So we'll just go with one of these. Okay, that sounds if that sounds okay, I think it does. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. So let's go with this. So we'll just crop it later when the time comes. Okay, so this is our basic stuff that we are there, and let's go back to the book and see what it says. Okay, so we'll do this. So let's the ship is really stationary now. So if we press some keys, let's press some key, nothing happens. See, we are pressing a lot of things, but nothing really works. Okay, this is stuck. Okay, the plane is stuck, so we need to make the plane move. Okay, so for that we need to write some code, and that code is written here. So so there's a new argument that you're seeing. So before we saw only args.outputs, so here the argument output stuff, right? So now we move on to something else that is called args.stat. So this is different from that. So you understand that it is supposedly about state, right? So let's go back to the code, and let's remove this stuff, not really needed anymore. Okay, so the hello spaceship is gone now. Hello alien. Let's remove all these too. Okay, because we don't need this. Okay, So just here back with the sprite only. So this is the sprite. We only have that and blank canvas, nothing else is there, and this is where we are. So we are now trying to incorporate movements. Okay, let's try some movements. Okay, so what you need to write something called, okay, let's zoom in a little bit. I think that will be helpful for you to watch. Yeah, I think, oh, that's a lot. Okay, so this is okay. So what we'll do here is args dot state dot player x, and then this is the pipe operator, and we'll do 120. Okay, then args dot state dot player y, and it will have to be 280. Okay, I'll explain those things, what those are. Okay, so I need to understand, so I need for you to understand something else. Okay, so this is what you need you to understand. Okay, so this is what are we feeding. So this is the concept of variables. So this is what you are defining here, and it goes back here. Okay, and so instead of just inputting 120 here directly, you are just inputting the name of the variable. Why, this will come clear in a moment. Okay, args.states dot layer y. Okay, and then what we were doing before, this is 180, and then the sprite. Just copy it from there, let's press this, and this is not relevant anymore, so let's set this. Okay, and then end. Okay, so there are a couple of new things here as you have seen. So this is called args.state. So first let me explain what is args.state. So it can be anything that you want it to be. Okay, and if you feed it player x, it keeps track of it. Okay, wherever you find whatever you feed the args.state, it will be accessible in future ticks. So whatever, you can feed it anything and it will be available for you to access. Okay, something, it's like the concept of variables. So if you put something here, it's not working. So let me just check with another port here. Okay, the light is going back that way. Lots of problems in streaming. Okay, so it works now. So I think one of the ports has gone bad in my laptop. That's the first day I am hearing about it, or maybe not, I don't know. Let's just go with it. So when you have this, so args.state, so this can basically be like a box to you, and you can store stuff here. Okay, and then you can access it later in future ticks. Okay, that's basically it. You will see what I mean in later. Okay, not right now. Okay, but this is basically like a box, like a state variable, like a also like a variable store stuff for you. You know, there's a box, the box model for a variable. So here's a box, and you store something inside it. You know, store an apple. Okay, that's really bad apple. Let's just call it a berry. It's some kind of berry. Okay, it's some kind of berry. So you just store it, and if you name it berry, so it just gets stored there. Or instead, if you just store, you can store variables like, everybody does. A is equal to 5 in some language. Okay, you need a semicolon sometimes in some languages, you don't. Anyway, so let's put this. So this is how it's done. So it's basically a variable that stores some stuff. Okay, and keeping track of game state across sticks is important here, definitely. So because keeping track of game state, and let me give you a couple more examples. So let's say that you are playing something like Call of Duty or IGI. So if you're playing that, so let's say this is your health. Okay, this is your health bar, and your health is 100. That's full. So then you get hit by a bullet, and the rule says that if a bullet strikes you in a non-vital organ like a leg or an arm, so then it will go down by 10. Okay, so then if you have something, if it's written in Dragon Ruby, it's not, you will store it something like args.state. It would be 100, but if you get hit by a bullet, you will update it to something like this. Okay, or whatever it was before, -10. You can just do that. So this is one of the things that you can do. You can do many things with it. So this is, I'm just showing you that you can just store it like this. Okay, and you can go further, specialize. So you can, so instead of just args.state, you can just say args.state.health. Okay, this is basically it, args.state. So this is, you can think of this as args.state, and it can contain manything like health. So bullet in the magazine that you might have. Then it can have many other things like shield. So if you have some shield inside the game, so what's the status of that? What's the 20 on that? Or it's something like that. So you can state many things. args.state dot, let's say, player health might be 100. Right? So it's simple stuff. So if you're hit by bullet in non-vital organ, then it goes down 10, and it becomes 90. And if if you get hit in a headshot, you're just instantly dead. So 100 minus 100. Okay, you're just dead. Okay, and if a vital organ like abdomen or something like that, then it's more down, like 20 or 30. If it's in heart, then by 70. Who knows? It depends on how those games are developed. So this is the concept of args.state. So it's basically, you can store anything that you want. Okay, allowed by the game engine, of course. So you see that, and so we need to keep track of it someplace. That's what I said. And you can define anything on args.state. So this engine allows anything to be stored here. So it's up to you to use useful names. So you have to find useful names and then use those names here. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So you could of course, so you could make args.state.blah blah, and it would be a valid name. It would be a valid state if you can store something. Okay, so it depends on what you are doing, what game you're developing. As I told you, this can be args.state, and you can store something like player health, args.state.bulletin mag, args.state.player underscore shield, and you can store the shield information there. So it can be anything, like for a car it can be wind pressure, fuel, anything. So it's like basic object oriented programming kind of thinking that's employed here. Okay, so for a human, so args.state.age, why not? Okay, so age.state, args.state doesn't care what you feed it. So that's what I wanted to tell you. So I hope this okay. So what the heck is this pipe equals? Okay, so maybe we need to start with equal dot. So it's actually assignment operator. So see the things on the left and the value on the right. It's core programming concept. It's useful for assigning data to properties that we want to keep track of. Okay. Okay. So so if you create a variable like this, name is called Francis, and then puts name, it will just print the name. Okay, you can just use anything like that. Okay, and if you do something, let's see if there are any online Ruby. This is here. Okay, so let's let's run this. Let's zoom this a lot. Okay, so if you say something like this, name, so let's do this where spaceship. Okay, then it puts name. Okay, this is local variable here. So spaceship is just put down. So this is how variables work. So if you do something like this, and it is not it's a number, so it's a num. So let's say it's 5, so puts num plus 1. Let's do that. I hope that works. 6, yeah, just as expected, right? It's a 6. So this is how variables work, and you are working with a variable that is called the args.stat variable. Okay, it's nothing more exotic than that. It's just plain and simple variable concept that you know from normal programming. So it's a box, it's called a, and you can put a, if you do something like this, a is equal to 5, the value gets written, and whenever you say a plus 1, it's actually 6. Whenever you do a divided by 2, it's basically 2.5. So that's what it is. Okay, so this is the concept of plain and simple old concept of variable, but you are doing this now with args.stat. Okay. So this is called or equals. Assign the property player x on args.stat the numeric value of 120 unless it is already assigned a value. Okay, so this is a special kind of operator. So it assigns a value to something unless something is not already assigned. Okay, let's say you have this args.stat, that something is there. So let's say a, you just decided to name it a, and if you do this, it's just plain simple equals and 5, whatever was inside a, it might be 10, it might not be anything, so it gets just written big 5. So this is what happens. But when you use this operator, when instead of this plain and simple equal, if you instead use this operator and you put in 5, let's say, then it checks, then Ruby checks whatever in the box. If this is the box that args.stat.a, if it is already assigned something, if it's there, let's say 10 or something else, it doesn't put in anything, doesn't put any change. If it's empty, it's nothing is assigned to it, then 5 gets in. So this is the concept of this operator that you see here. So you might not have seen anything, but it's really simple. It's not anything to sweat over. So or equals. Okay, so remember tick is running, so this is what it does. Okay, so the tick is running once every 60 seconds. You don't want to always set this. Okay, 120, you just want to set it to that initially. So that's why this is being used inside the game. Okay, it's a lot of mess. So something has gone bad. Let's see, what is this? So what's the code there? So is this player X, player Y? Okay, so this is, I wrote states here instead of state. I think that would be okay. Yeah, so it's back. So just as a small letter misplaced here, so I just wrote args.states, but it doesn't know what args.states is. It knows args.state, singular. Okay, so now we have the shape back. Okay, so what they want to say that, so if you have placed tapped a bunch of keys and you have made the ship come here, so on the next update it doesn't want the ship to go back here where it originally was. So that's what's really important. So that's an important concept. So if you just update this and ask it every time to be 120 and 280, so it will just go back to that position every time, no matter whatever keys you press and whatever you left the ship by pressing the keys. That would be a mess. That would be a really bad game. So if they don't use the only equal operator, the assignment operator, they use this or this. Okay, so this operator is used. So if a ship is not somewhere else already, so that means if a ship is already somewhere else, this variable args.state.player.x, it's assigned something is already in the box. It doesn't get the value of 120. It doesn't. So that plain value that I showed you here, it's, if something is already here, it's resolved. It's just left alone. Okay, it doesn't update. So we want to start it initially, because initially args.state.player_x, it doesn't hold anything. Okay, so we want to start here 120, the x value, and we want the y value to be 280. So in the initial, that's initial, but when it has changed, we don't want to update anything. So we just want it to be there where it is. So how to do that, we'll implement those very soon. So this is or equals operator. This is really cool concept. So there's just 2 lines of code, a lot of explanation, but those lines are really important. So whenever you have something like this, okay, let's remove this. Okay, so you will have to write this, and I'll just hold your hand over there. So args.state.player_x, let's say your character, it might be an ant, okay, or a snail, whatever. So it's here, okay, on the x-axis, and you place a bunch of right arrows, okay, or D's. Then the ant moves here, right? It should. So then the player x, initially it could be 0, and after a bunch of key presses it just achieved the state of 5. Okay, this is 5 and this is 0. So you cannot move it back to here, right? So this is what this variable keeps track of. Okay, I think this is simple. If you really have any confusion or anything, just let me know in the Discord.